So in the last year, we've worked really hard to develop an ad product at Reddit that really didn't get touched for about 6 years while Steve and I were gone. And what we found was we can actually build a native ad product on Reddit that is essentially a conversation starter. And it lets brands set a table, invite a community for whatever their interests might be, and start a conversation with them. And sometimes it's a discussion about another ad. Sometimes it's just something fun. Sometimes it's serious. It's whatever the brand wants to accomplish. But what we found is the engagement is so incredibly high. And then you combine that with brand lift studies we've done with independent third parties, and the goals of the campaign actually succeed. Like the ability to influence people because you're coming correctly, because you're using these native ads to start a conversation and get people highly engaged with it, like they're actually accomplishing their goals. There are going to be many more niche brands. You're gonna find, and I think that's a good thing. It's good for consumers because at the end of the day, we do have more varied needs. We do have diversity of interests and wants and desires. And so it makes sense that we would have products that reflect that, as well as marketing that reflects that. And I think on the whole, the trend that we're seeing is brands have to be more self-aware now, not just when they're advertising on Reddit, but like in general, because the days of deluding yourself into thinking that like you sell miracle water are gone, because people will call you on it, right? People were calling you on it around the water cooler 40 years ago. You just didn't know, and you couldn't see it happening in real time. And now, because of platforms like Reddit, you can. Biggest mistake marketers make is definitely that lack of self-awareness. And it's weird because we're all people, and we're all people who probably, if our parents raised us right, are welcome guests at a dinner table. And yet even people with good table manners and good conversation, like basic conversation skills, forget all that when they get into marketing mode and start creating marketing content that is totally inauthentic and totally disingenuous, and start behaving in a way that just feels really antisocial. And the last 10 years of these social media platforms have really reinforced this idea that is, like I said, fairly antisocial. That Black Mirror episode does such a good job of really dissecting why it's so awkward. But that is it. I mean, I'm sure there was a photo from this press conference today that I'm gonna download and I'm gonna put into Prime and I'm gonna edit, and then I'm gonna come up with a really good caption and I'm gonna post it on Instagram. And we need that as people, no doubt. And there's a need for that kind of connection, but it's so superficial, and I would argue doesn't actually influence in a meaningful way. And if you're a brand, you want to influence, you want to build an audience, and it just makes sense to me that you would go to where you can actually have an impact. It is an amazing time to be a brand starting out, because you have to earn every single customer, and it will be in your DNA from day one that you have to make something people want, and you have to engage with them in a genuine way, or else no one will care about you and you'll go out of business. So that's good. I think the brands that are being forged today are going to be so much stronger and so much better than the ones that were forged 50 or 100 years ago, because they've been forged in these fires of social media, of real-time discussion. And we see people, the smartest ones, engage from the moment people are talking about them. Not just on platforms like Facebook and Twitter, but on platforms like Reddit. And the brands that are really winning the day are the ones that embrace that conversation, good or bad or otherwise, and just try to be helpful. And when they find an opportunity to talk to someone, they do so like a human being, not like a brand, not like some kind of soulless marketing robot. Awesome.